Please video like and subscribe this channel. The moment I entered the throne chamber of Queen Valeera, I knew the stories had not done her justice. Her presence was a living storm, tall, radiant, and terrifying in her perfection. Light bent around her in waves of iridescent colors, and the energy emanating from her alone could have powered an entire starship fleet. The air hummed with her fury before I even saw her expression, as if the very atmosphere itself feared to displease her. I had been summoned without explanation. The last message I received from her court was short: "Come. Now." No formalities, no courtiers explaining purpose, only the sense that my life, or perhaps the lives of countless others, hung on this single meeting. As a human, my species had little presence among her people. The Tellurians, a civilization older than most human colonies, renowned for their psychic prowess, military dominance, and unmatched governance. And yet, I had been called to stand before her. The hall was vast, crystalline floors stretching far beyond what my eyes could comfortably take in. Towers of light spiraled upward like frozen flames, reflecting her power in every facet of the room. Guards and advisors had cleared the space as I approached, bowing with synchronized precision, their faces masks of awe and fear. But their reactions paled in comparison to the Queen herself. "Human," she said, her voice resonating through the hall like a low-frequency drum that vibrated through bone and muscle alike. "You dare enter my presence after the transgressions of your people?" Her words were a whip, snapping through the space between us. I swallowed hard. Every tale I had heard of her fury, every story whispered among her court, flooded my mind. Yet despite the fear curling in my stomach, I kept my posture firm. "Your Majesty," I said steadily, "I am here as summoned. I do not claim to understand fully why, but I stand ready to answer any question you pose." A ripple of color passed across her skin, an alien sign of disbelief and anger. She rose from her throne, and I could feel the air around me thrum with raw psychic energy. Every step she took was deliberate, measured, each one sending waves through the chamber. I was acutely aware that one misstep, one wrong gesture, and she could obliterate me with thought alone. "You dare speak calmly in the presence of my fury?" she demanded. "Do you not realize the weight of your actions, human? The affronts, the encroachments, the insolence of your species. How many centuries have you existed among the stars, yet you remain ignorant of protocol and power?" I felt the weight of the centuries pressing down, the unbroken record of human failings against her civilization. I swallowed again and spoke plainly. "I am aware that humans have erred. I am aware that we are inexperienced compared to your people. Yet we endure, as we always have. And I am here because you summoned me, not because I sought conflict." Her eyes narrowed, luminous violet in hue, sharper than any blade. For a heartbeat, silence dominated the chamber. The court, the advisors, the psychic guards, every being present watched, waiting. And then she laughed. It was not a laugh of joy, but a low, rolling sound that shook the walls, a sound of disbelief that bordered on incredulity. "You endure," she repeated. "You survive. After the trespasses your kind has committed. After defying interstellar law, ignoring centuries of warnings," and she paused, taking a slow breath, her rage almost palpable, "yet here you stand. Calm, bold, insolent." I stood my ground, though the adrenaline surged through me. "Because I must. Survival is all we have, Majesty. And if standing here earns your judgment, then I accept it." Valeera's fury seemed to shift, subtly, but unmistakably. Her anger did not abate, it evolved. I sensed the curiosity behind it, the spark of intrigue that she could not fully suppress even in her wrath. "You are unusually brave, or perhaps foolish. Humans have always been unpredictable, but never quite like you," she said, stepping closer. Her proximity was overwhelming. I could feel the psychic pressure against my mind, probing, testing, weighing the very substance of my being. Speak, then. Tell me why I should not simply erase you from existence for your audacity. I took a measured breath. Because, Majesty, I am here as a witness to your court's power and your justice. I will answer your questions. I will accept consequences. And if there is any merit in my words or actions, I will act to earn your respect. But I do not fear you, not in the way fear can conquer action, only in the way fear teaches vigilance and awareness. For a moment, the chamber was silent except for the hum of her psychic energy. The courtiers shifted, clearly astonished at my nerve. The Queen's eyes bore into mine, unrelenting, reading every heartbeat, every thought, every hesitation. Then, slowly, she spoke. You are unlike any human I have observed, she said quietly, almost as if speaking to herself. Your species has survived where most would fail, yet I have never known one to stand before me so, composed, even under the weight of certain death. Her words struck me, but they did not break me. Instead, they created a strange clarity, a window into understanding the nature of her wrath. She was testing, probing, measuring the essence of human courage, and I had passed her first silent examination. You will answer 3 questions, she continued, her voice firm now but controlled. Fail, and you will regret that insolence beyond measure. I nodded. I am ready, Majesty. Her first question was deceptively simple. Why do humans meddle in affairs beyond their comprehension? Why claim territory, technology, and alliances that should belong to older, wiser civilizations? I met her gaze. Because survival demands it. Because we are resourceful and adaptable, yes. But also because humanity is curious, and our curiosity is boundless. We learn from the stars as we learn from each other. We make mistakes, yes, but through those mistakes, we grow. She considered my answer, letting the psychic energy roll over me, testing the sincerity behind the words. Then her second question. Do you believe your kind is equal to mine? To my people? To the Telerians who have ruled for millennia? I answered without hesitation. Not equal in experience, not in power, but equal in spirit. Humans endure where others surrender. Humans persist when others fall. And spirit, Majesty, is the greatest weapon and shield of all. Her color shifted subtly, an almost imperceptible flicker of surprise. Then the third question. What would you do if your survival conflicted with my will? I met her gaze, unflinching. I would honor your authority, Majesty, but I would also act to preserve life where possible. Not out of defiance, but out of the principle that life is precious. I do not seek to oppose you. I seek to coexist and understand. The chamber fell silent. Even the psychic guards, normally unshakable, seemed to hold their breath. Vylera studied me for what felt like an eternity, her fury now tempered with something entirely alien to me, contemplation. Finally, she spoke, her voice low and measured. You stand before me, a human, and yet you have earned what few have, my attention. I am not accustomed to being impressed by those younger than stars themselves. I did not respond, merely bowed slightly. My heart raced, yet I remained outwardly composed. Then, unexpectedly, she smiled, a subtle, rare smile that illuminated her entire presence. Your courage is remarkable. Your honesty, disarming. And your persistence, extraordinary. She stepped closer, lowering her gaze to mine in a way that felt intimate, not threatening. Humans may be fragile in body, but you possess something older, older than empires, older than the stars themselves, the will to endure. I finally spoke, my voice steady despite the enormity of the moment. I am honored, Majesty. Your acknowledgement is more than I could have hoped for. Vylera's fury had dissipated, replaced by respect, a transformation so profound that even the Telerian courtiers were silent in awe. She raised her hand, signaling me to rise. You are bold, human. Few would survive this trial, and fewer still would maintain their composure. You have my attention, and by extension, my respect. Consider this audience a beginning, not an end. As I left the throne chamber, the tension of the encounter slowly ebbed. My body relaxed, though my mind raced with the enormity of what had transpired. The alien queen's fury had been unmatched, yes, but beneath it lay a depth of intelligence and discernment that I had never anticipated. To earn her acknowledgement was more than survival, it was proof that human persistence could bridge the gap between species, and that courage, honesty, and integrity could command respect across galaxies. That day, I learned something invaluable. In the face of fury and power, silence and truth can speak louder than any weapon or fleet. And in the cosmos, where stars burn for millennia and civilizations rise and fall, the human spirit, small, fragile, and persistent, remains a force to be reckoned with. End.